hello there, and welcome to the Mortal Kombat Conquest Journey of Conquest podcast that we do with HFP Productions. This is do we call it a telecast or a podcast or something?
It's a T.Vcast.
I see what I see.
This week is episode 9.
It is episode
Which
9.
is episode 10 of
No.
Is it episode
It's
10?
episode 8 of our podcast, episode 9, because we did a double bill in the first one. I say that every time. It's like a catchphrase, but it's not. I just feel I have to say that, even though if you're one of the 3 people that listens to each episode that we do, you'll know.
Yes, but we always forget.
So
but
what's...
this week, Quan is here, and he is very angry.
So what is Tom doing there? Well, Tom, what are you doing there?
I have taken some acting courses from the Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yeah.
Villain.
So
Actor. Guy.
Quan. I forgot the guy's name. I did look it up, but I didn't write it down. What Tom's doing there, this episode was called Quan Chi. Quan Chi is an iconic Mortal Kombat character.
Very iconic.
Yeah.
And he talks in a very normal way.
Does he?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's all over this episode because it's called Quan Chi. Episode 9, Quan Chi.
Yes, and he is very angry.
Yeah.
With his sexy minion girls.
I'm not going to ask how long you can keep this up because I know you will try for the entire episode if I do that, and I don't want to do that.
Okay, I may stop soon.
Excellent. So, you keep it going if you want. What did you think with the brief overview, not the detailed one, the brief overview? What did you think of this episode?
I thought the acting was amazing, particularly from Quan Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't amazing. It was slightly different from the last episodes because all of them are fucking morons this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This might be the best episode yet for me. This episode is the stuff I remember from Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yeah.
Like the not like particularly this episode and the events, but the way this episode unfolds and what happens is the stuff I remembered fondly from this show. Shall we begin?
Go for it.
Do you remember where it begins?
I want to say it begins in the center place again.
No, we begin in a bar.
In the bar.
We begin in the bar.
Oh yeah, we got Zero.
Yeah. So you have Zero, Taja, and Kung Lao. If you need a recap, Kung Lao's like the savior of Earth, and Taja and Zero are his partners. Taja's a thief, and Zero is a former guardsman, swords person who is like regularly fights Kung Lao, but now they're friends again. And they're in a bar. They're just drinking. A waitress comes over. Kung Lao says he has to leave because he's up early the next day. Zero asks for another drink. And some cake.
Yeah, he asked for cake.
And she says, "You've had enough to feed a pig or something."
Yeah. So
and
you've already eaten something or other.
Yeah. But Zero's like really polite about it, and Taja's like, "Why are you so polite?" And Zero's like, "Women like it when you're polite." And Taja's like, "Oh, thanks for the advice," and sips a drink like, "God, what an asshole." And it was nice. Yeah. It was a nice beginning. And then Kung Lao's outside, and a rogue woman just comes and help me, they're beating her.
Yeah.
So he runs. Kung Lao goes with this woman, and we go back to the bar. No, we go outside the bar. Taja and Zero are leaving, and Taja's like, "So that waitress you like?" And Zero's like, "Yeah." And Taja's like, "What's her name?" Zero's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that. Like I'm polite, but I'm
waitress.
not. Yeah. Then we go back to Kung Lao, who finds a woman basically being schoolyard bullied by 2 women wearing Catwoman, like...
Well, one of them has a Catwoman mask. The others are just masked.
But it's just, like, across their eyes. Like, think, like, Catwoman in, like, the 60s Batman.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Robin has that, like... But it has slightly 2 circular bits over the eye. And they're literally just pushing her to each other.
Yeah.
And this woman is like screaming, "No, no!" And both these women are scantily clad. One's blonde, which she did refer to earlier, and one is
Brunette?
She was brunette.
I think there was a brunette and a black-haired woman.
The black-haired woman... Right, there was a black woman, and that's the woman who's been in the robes that asked Kung Lao for help.
Yeah.
And then there's a blonde woman and a brunette, and they are pushing this girl, just bullying her, going, no, Jack. And Kung Lao steps in and tells them to stop. And then the two women are like, he's pretty brave. Like, they push the woman that they're bullying to Kung Lao, and Kung Lao, like, passes her to the robe woman, and is like, I'll take you on. Which I did appreciate that there wasn't any, like, oh, you're women, I shouldn't kick you. And Kung Lao is more like an equal opportunist. If you're a dick, you're a dick kind of fight. And then they're like, he's pretty brave taking the two of us on.
Yeah.
And then there's a heel turn.
Yeah, and then the woman in the robes goes, 3 of us, and snaps the girl's neck.
Yeah.
So he didn't save anyone.
He did not, and she just broke this woman's neck. You know, do you remember, I think it was last week or the week before, I was talking about I want more death. That was more death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death. Right, very
Kung Lao steps in.
Yeah, and then he gets his ass kicked.
Well, he fought alright. They did this, like, I quite liked it. He kept doing, like, the martial art poses, like, with his, like, fists going up and down, pumping. And these women are, like, circling him. And it did feel like jackals, like, and the one behind him was, like, leans in and he'd turn. And I actually thought it was quite nice. Choreographed and I could sort of understand why, it's not just 3 people. Like, most group fights in any TV show say it's, like, someone versus 4.
Yeah.
1 attacks, they get knocked down, the other attack, and then maybe 2 will attack at the same time, but it's always a tandem move from the front. These women were going for it, so it made sense to me why Kung Lao would basically lose. But before he could get killed, there was a woman with a knife.
Yeah.
Tarja and Zero saved the day.
Yeah.
And then Zero is like the women basically run off.
Yeah.
And Tarja's like helping Kung Lao, and like what happened, and Kung Lao's like, a girl died. And Zero has absolutely zero interest in any of this, and instead he's just leaned on the ground and he's looking at something. Like a piece of, and he holds it out, it's like a piece of glass.
Yeah.
And Kung Lao's like, what is it? And he goes, just a broken bowl. And just drops it. Like, it wasn't fucking important.
Yeah.
And it's very important, apparently, in the plot. But it was the fact that a woman died, Zero didn't give a shit. But then when he was asked, what do you think of it? He's just like, it's just a bowl.
Yeah.
I just wasn't really listening to you, Kung Lao.
Yeah.
Waitress on my mind. Got to find out her name.
Yeah. And then like, oh, what about the woman? And Zero's just like, I'll tell the guy.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention that the credits rolled in between. When the women are circling Kung Lao, that's when we got credits.
Yeah.
Because I'd written, fight! No, credits. Now fight. Kung Lao loses. I tell you what the women fought like, though. They were, like, quite shrieky, and they're quite flippy. Do you ever play Streets of Rage on the Mega Drive?
I didn't play it on the Mega Drive. I played it on the DO1.
Nintendo?
I think it was Nintendo.
Okay.
Like the crap version.
I don't know if they had Streets of Rage on Nintendo, or you're thinking of Final Fight or something else. Maybe. On Streets of Rage, there was a boat, and you went across this boat, and you fought 2 women at the end, and one of them just kept flipping, and the other one would straight fight you. The one who straight fight you, like, you could beat her really easy, but you would save your specials for the flippy woman because she was a fucking nightmare. They fought like this, like very flippy, very, very out there. I liked this. So anyway, Zero found this bottle. It's just a bottle.
Yeah.
And then we go to a random room, but I will give them credit. It wasn't just the same throne room as all the other rooms.
That's a different one.
It was a different room.
Different set.
Yeah. And these 3 women are stood in front of a dude in a chair.
Yeah.
And this dude in the chair was
Quan Chi.
Yeah.
Quan Chi has a very elegant way of speaking to his minions.
I've written Quan Chi, a bold blue-grey guy who shouts oddly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Quan Chi knows all about Kung Lao and everything that's going on there, and he's like, oh, it must have been Zero and Tarja. She's a thief, and he's his friend, and da-da-da. And he's pissed that his bottle broke.
Yeah.
And then I loved, like, I didn't quite get why, but maybe you'll deliver it better if you want to do the impression. But Quan Chi's like basically chastising these women, and then he says, "Bring me my bottle," and they're like, "It got broken in the fight," and he's like, "All my work just drying on the street," and they're like, "Yeah," and he goes, "I'm sending you back." And then one of the women's like, "No, please." And he just looks at her and just goes, "I meant back to Kung Lao, you idiot."
Yeah.
I don't know why it just tickled me. Like the two women, they weren't even like it wasn't like a Three Stooges bumbling people or anything. No. But I just love this, like the anger, like sending you back. No, please, I meant to Kung Lao, idiot. Like yeah. He does some kind of spell thing.
I would like to say it's the blonde woman that delivers that line, and Sam did a spot-on impression of how she delivers that line. Like, she just has no inflection to or real emotion to any of her lines.
No, and her accent went from like Californian American to sort of Aussie.
Yeah.
Did you pick up that as well? Like, I don't know if what she was trying to do an accent, and I can't really do this accent, so I'll just monotone it and see if that's American enough. But she just... And it's then really weird, because when you speak Aussie, you inflect in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that's not the great Aussie, but that's how they speak. It's like they emphasise the end of the word and really inflect.
I think it's a question.
And it goes up at the end, yeah. And so occasionally she'd do that and then go back to this monotone. Yeah. It was strange.
And she got all the lines. So... Smart casting.
Yeah. So we go back to the home base, and Kung Lao's leaving, and he says, I'm leaving for this monk ceremony. Someone's becoming a monk. Yeah. Instantly, my brain went, he's dead. Like, if this TV show up to now has taught me anything, it's if you're a monk, you're dead.
Yeah.
Monk or follower, dead.
Yeah.
Dead. And Taja wants to find Ciro. She's like, where's Ciro? And Kung Lao's like, I don't know, he went out. And Taja's like, I wanted him to carry stuff.
Yeah.
I love it, that's like... No, where's Ciro? I'll go chill with him. Just, I wanted him to carry things for me.
I wanted to go shopping. I needed a guy to carry shit.
And, see, it was making me laugh, and like, I was quite fond of this episode. Already I was feeling like... I felt this episode I got more Taja, even though we had a Taja-specific episode like last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ciro's being shaved.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a shave at a shop or anything?
No.
No, okay. I have once, and it was fine.
Yeah.
But I think if I'd been cut while shaving, I would not be fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you can get nicked, like a slight nick, and that's sort of fine. Like, it happens. It's you using a ridiculously straight knife, like straight razors are really, really sharp.
Yeah.
But for one, she wasn't using a fucking straight razor.
No.
That was not a straight razor that she's using. She's using like a fucking dagger thing.
Right. Ciro's being shaved. He's being shaved by a woman who's one of the women from Quanchi's women, and he's there with a bit of shaving foam, nowhere near enough foam on his face, and she's got a knife. Yeah. Like, basically.
And then she cuts him, and it's like a proper cut.
Yeah.
Like,
and he does the whole and really sells his cut, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, okay." And he says, "It's okay, just a scratch." I've written down, "It's okay, just a scratch." No, it's not okay. It would never fucking be okay. Yeah. Like, when I was, this is a childhood story. When I was like 10, my mum took me to a hairdresser's and left me there, and this woman cut the back of my neck. Like, she was using, I think, electric things. And I literally had a cut with blood dripping down the back of my neck, and my mum dragged me, like, my mum didn't see it till we were out the store, dragged me back in and yelled at them about how cutting someone when you're hairdressing, because my mum did some hairdressing at one point, is like really, really fucking bad. I would be like that with shaving. Like, if someone shaved me and they cut me, I would be yelling at them. I would probably then do the dickhead thing of rubbing the foam off and going and shaving myself, because cutting myself's fine, I do it all the time, but not when I'm paying for it. And I would certainly not be, it's just a scratch with a cut like that, which is really near his jugular as well. It's like
it was a proper cut. Like, as I say, if it was like a little nick where it's like you've got a spot that's on your beard and you've not noticed it, and those have gone down, like they've taken like the top off or something, like that's fine. Like, that happens, you can't really do much about it because the hair's there to block it, particularly if you like, I've got a full beard. If someone was shaving like this to clean shaven, like, I'm probably gonna get cut.
I would be pissed.
He's like he's fully shaved anyway.
Right now Tom has a beard going on. You've trimmed that though, shaped it slightly.
I've shaped it.
Yeah. I know you shape it, because I know when you don't shape it, it's wild, man.
Yeah.
And even then, though, if you were cutting that down and you cut me shaving, I'd be like, fuck you. Literally the reason I've gone to you to pay me is so you don't cut me. That's literally, like, you know. No, I'd be like, fuck this guy. Or woman. But yeah, so he gets cut and he's fine with it. Then Taj is buying roses from a friend.
Yeah.
And her friend is the same friend that she met in the last episode.
Yeah.
But it's not her, but it looks like her. No,
we skipped a bit. She tried to buy them the night before.
Yeah, and her friend was like, no. And we'd met this friend in another episode because Cyril met her and was like, oh. So she meets her friend again, but her friend isn't a friend this time.
Yeah.
Which we get with a nice camera movement, which you'll appreciate because we had a big discussion about a similar movement yesterday.
And she's like, I'm her sister, she's ill.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm buying these roses. Oh, here you go. And pricks herself on the fucking roses.
Yeah. Which, again, she's like, it's fine. But this time, I'd be really like, it's not fine. Like, it's not the fact that she's like, oh, there's thorns, this should be fine. How she passes them to her, she passes them and then grips her hand around it to force them onto the thorns.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't pass anyone a rose like that, whether it had thorns or not.
I would be more inclined to blame myself if someone was passing me roses and I pricked myself a rose than someone shaving me and cuts me. But that's it. That's the point. It's she doesn't just pass her roses and she happens to pick it. She literally pulls her hand on it, which is good. Like film story wise, it made sense. But Taj is like, oh, it's fine. It's like, fuck off, guys. Like you fight over everything with each other, but you can't fight a fucking rose seller or a shaver who's doing a bad job. Fuck you guys. And Zero, like, okay, the woman shaving him was pretty attractive. I could Zero help let him out. Yeah. But Taja? No. She should have been like, what the hell are you doing? I'm a thief, I know these hand tricks. I need my hands, da-da-da. But yeah, she was off. And then Kung Lao's on a walk. And this is like, okay, so the first one...
the best line ever.
The first one is like, you paid to get shaved, anyone could be shaving you, fine. You know, could be an innocent situation. Zero may have gone for hundreds of shaves and we haven't seen the clips because they were without incident. Taja, we know, buys roses all the fucking time. But this one, Kung Lao is an idiot.
Yeah.
Right? So he hears a woman crying for help.
Yeah.
And he goes, and she is tied to a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with straps. And he cuts the straps and then says, wet leather, in the sun they would have dried and killed you.
Yeah.
What's the line? Do you want to bring the line in now, or do you want me to do more description first?
Well, she got the piece of leather around her neck. Mm-hmm. She gets pulled down, and she goes, "Thank you, I was strangling." Not I was choking, I was strangling.
Yeah.
What were you strangling? What?
And this is the blonde woman.
Yeah.
So the delivery is... Tom has put more emotion into these lines than she did at the time. So she says she's like being strangled and stuff.
No, she doesn't. She says I was strangling.
I was strangling.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, Kung Lao picks her up and she scratches him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, it's fine. She's like, oh, sorry, I've cut you. And he's like, it's fine. And then he's like, come with me to the temple. And she's like, no, I have to wait here for my husband.
Yeah.
So some bandits tied you to a tree, but you're going to wait by the tree you were tied to.
Yeah.
Seems safe. And Kung Lao seems quite happy to leave her, but leaves her some cheese and meat.
Well, leaves her some cheese and meat and tells her to stay by the road. Yeah. The bandits will see her easily again, I guess.
And then Kung Lao walks away. And once he's out of earshot, she looks and she goes, "Fool, what use have I for this?" And throws it on the floor. Like, what? First of all, like, people need to... Like, I love it, but it's really lame when someone walks away and then someone else is, like, speaking as if, like, oh, this is what I would have said, but I was too cowardly to say in front of you. I do love when sometimes in TV shows they have that happen and then someone's like, what?
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, you believe this is my secret plan. South Park do this all the time. Like, Carmen starts going, yes, and then I shall have all of it. He goes, what do you say, Carmen? Oh, nothing. Yeah, you're betraying us. Yeah. You know, but it wasn't like that. And she threw it down. Like, what's that going to show him?
Yeah.
Like, what, Kung Lao's going to come back? Oh, there's cheese and meat on the floor. Oh, I'm so upset. Yeah. Like, fucking idiot. But yeah. So then we go to Quan Chi, who's meeting his three women, and he laughs. And he's boasting. I've written, he's laughing and boasting, I love this guy. And then Quan Chi is like, it gets a bit intense. He goes to the blonde woman.
Yeah.
And he starts being like, I've got to teach you a lesson. And she's like, no, please, no.
Yeah.
And he like, I thought we were getting zombie stuff. because he starts talking, you've forgotten what you were, and he goes, that smell of death, and her face doesn't just turn into like decay or like her cheek, her right cheek, like a spike starts coming out of it, and it looks really weird, and then he's like, like he's saying like, this is how you normally are, don't forget, and then one of the other women, because the other two are sort of watching but they're smiling as they watch this, one of the other women goes, she looks good like that. Yeah. And Quan turns to her, like, really annoyed, and just goes, would you like to be next? And she's like, oh. And the two other women go silent.
Yeah.
And then it's a little bit perverted. Quan gets this, like, it's basically syrup in a jar. Yeah. And then he just pours it into her mouth, but it's a bit sexual. Of like, like, oh.
And beforehand, pretty much all the speakers, in the Quan way, you will please me. Please me. You'll do what I say and please me.
It was a strong implication of a sexual power relationship going on. Now we go back to town after that. Nothingness. And Kung Lao walks past a child. He's like, Kung Lao, you're back. Can we play ball like you promised? And Kung Lao just goes, no. And just storms off. He says it like that as well. Like, no.
Yeah.
Then he gets in, and Tarja and Ciro are arguing. Ciro is drunk and swaying, holding a flagon.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, Tarja, you stole it. Where is it? Where is it? And the whole place is trashed.
Yeah.
And he says Tarja stole his wallet.
Yeah.
And Tarja's like, no, I didn't. And then Kung Lao's like, you bloody did. Ciro's like, you did. And he pushes her, and his wallet drops onto the floor, which isn't his wallet. It's like a bag of gold.
Yeah.
And then he picks up C, and Tarja's like, I was just holding onto it for you because you're drunk.
Yeah.
And Kung Lao, in a bad mood, is like, was the place trashed? And Ciro's like, I had something to find. And Kung Lao's just like...
And Tarja's like, Jay trashed it looking for his wine or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to carry on?
And then... I think they just split away from that, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They just cut away. So this is the start of it.
Yeah. We cut to the bar.
We go back to the bar. Ciro is now the belligerent, drunk asshole in the bar that wants to fuck the waitress.
Yeah. He's
basically his character now.
If you go watch like 80s films.
Yeah.
Like 80s action films, especially like the B and C movie style, and they usually have a scene in a strip club, and it's their thugs, and usually the strip club's like owned by like one of the bigger bad guys.
Yeah.
And there's always one guy who grabs one of the dancers and pulls them onto a lap. But this guy's always like important enough that he doesn't get kicked out of the bar and beaten the shit out. But it's really sleazy and he leers. That Ciro did that perfectly.
Yeah,
like he just
exactly Ciro's
pulls
character.
her in and is just perving over her. And the waitress, the barmaid's like, I never knew you could be like this. And he's like, I never knew I could be like this either. Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, fucking amazing. And then we get Tarja, and she's in the shop, and she does the classic, oh, what's this? Cool. Oh, could I get some of that behind you? The person turns around, Tarja runs off.
Yeah.
Like, if she'd run off any quicker, there would have been dust.
If someone who's pickpocket, she's an awful fucking thief. Like, that woman knows what she looks like.
Yeah, there was no smoothness to it. And now we get the most uncomfortable scene yet in Mortal Kombat Conquest. The barmaid is walking along the street.
Yeah.
Ciro jumps out the dark, grabs her, and is like, come on, baby.
Yeah.
And she's like, leave me alone. And he's like, no. Does he just try, though? Because we then get Tarja. She's gone back to the flower shop. And she, like, this old woman's, like, putting stuff away. And she's like, what happened? And Tarja's like, the owner's dead. I'm just putting her things away. And Tarja's like, oh, can I see her? We were friends.
Yeah.
And they open the coffin. And Tarja's left alone with the body. She's like, oh, poor girl. And then steals the rings off the old woman's finger. Which, like, already I'm like, well, we're going all out over the top. So, fucking. Then we go back to home. Ciro stumbles in drunk, singing.
Yeah.
Why is he singing and happy? Possibly just raped a woman.
Yeah.
That's the strong suggestion. And angry Kung Lao finds him. And he's having to go at him. And he says, what's this? And Ciro's like, what? He goes, it's Jen's scarf. Jen being Jen, not Shen or Chen.
Yeah.
Jen.
Yeah.
And Jen was Kung Lao's girlfriend Zero was her bodyguard. She was killed by Scorpion.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was the first episode, set them all up. Kung Lao is really pissed off, and they have an argument. And at first I was like, oh, this is argument number 90 for these two. But then I was like, but actually, Zero's a drunk cad now, and Kung Lao's just angry. Yeah. So actually, this is awesome. This is an awesome twist. And Kung Lao says, fine, you know what? Oh, first Zero's like, well, why don't we fight? And Kung Lao's like, if we fought, it'd be over quickly. And Zero's like, coward or something. Kung Lao's like, fine, you know what? I thought Kung Lao's going to throw a punch, but he doesn't. He delivers a verbal punch. And he says along the lines of, you know what you are? You're a used up freeloading bodyguard who couldn't even do that right. You let Jen die. Yeah. And Zero's proper and taken aback and then he starts the fight. Yeah. And this fight was great. First of all, the music. They've perfected fight music now. On this fight, when they were stood off, the music was low. Yeah. It had that dum 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 dum, but it was dum 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 dum. Yeah. And then Cyril grabbed a chair and went in, and as he went in, it's dum 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 dum. So and the
fight music now works. They still occasionally miss it. The rest of the time.
Oh, I think it was last week or the week before. They had that awful beat.
Well, they also had some of the fight music for the bit where he finds the woman tied up at a tree. It's the most nothing scene in the world.
But it sometimes easy well, it proper hypes it up. So so they fight and they're swinging a chair and fighting over a chair, and then they move and there's a big dining plate thing, and Sarah's slashing at Kung Lao with that, and they break that, and then there was a great moment where Zero stops, and it's just what are we doing? Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the end of the fight, and Kung Lao just screams.
It's wearing off the Zero.
And Kung Lao just screams and kicks him out a window.
Kicks him full on out the window. Two-story drop into rocks.
Yeah, wooden rocks, bro. Zero is fucking lit. He is sparking. And Raiden appears behind Kung Lao and goes, wow, think you might have killed him. Yeah. And Kung Lao's good, I want to kill him. And then Raiden basically disappears but appears and is checking on Zero. And then Kung Lao moans I'm sick of people doing this. They're not my friends. Everyone's against me. Just the most baby emo, fucking self-entitled fucking rant.
And Raiden's just before that as well. When Raiden first turns up, he's like, "So what was the fight about?" It's Jen's scarf. Jen's scarf.
Yeah. And then Raiden he's checking on Zero and he says he's hurt. Yeah. And he might be dying. And Kung Lao's good, and just walks away. And then Raiden's knocking on Zero and is Zero, what happened? What happened? And Zero's just angry. Yeah. And he pulls Zero up and there's blood. Yeah. Raiden found blood on his head when he said he was dying, and then as they pick Zero up there's a blood stain where his head was.
Yeah, but it's a really thing off on his head.
Yeah. But it's a really small located area of blood. And then we get Quan Chi. He sat drinking and just laughing to himself. And one of the women comes up and he's just that's two of them, just target to get Hugo, and he sends I think it's the black girl. Was it the black girl or was it the brunette? The white brunette girl. The black girl.
I think it was the black girl.
After Tarja. It's one of the two. I forgot.
They have very similar hair and are mostly shown as side characters. Yeah. So they sometimes seem like they're the same person. The black girl is quite light skinned, the other one's really tanned.
No, I'm not going there. This is my dream. They were so interchangeable, and it was such an unimportant thing that I've literally just forgotten. The only character that left the impression was the blonde girl.
Yeah, and she had lines.
So they don't look the same. They did not. Maybe to you they look the same.
From behind they had the same hair. That was about it. Yeah, and they always got shown from the side in in really short clips. Well,
one was taller, brunette and white. Yeah. The other one was smaller, black hair and black skin. So they weren't that similar, but it just they were so interchangeable. I've forgotten which one. It could be either. It'd be the same effect. I think it might have been the brunette one actually. Now that I think of it, I think so because we'll go on to why I think it might be that. It might be her. So then we go to Tarja. She's being hung. Literally, it cuts, and it's a medium close-up of Tarja, and she's literally got her rope around her neck. she's stood on like a wooden thing that they're going to kick away, and they're hanging from a tree, and everyone's calling her a thief, and there's even like pitchforks and things in the crowd. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'll get it all back, da-da-da. And there's a guy in a cloak watching, and it's Raiden. And Tarja's like, I'm sorry, and they're like, no, good enough, hang the thief. And then Raiden just sort of like, and he points one finger in the air, and lightning just starts striking the ground all around this crowd to disperse them. But it isn't like one lightning bolt or two lightning bolts. It's just like doof, 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 until they run away. And some of them like are running one direction, and a lightning bolt sends them in another direction. He was like herding cattle. Yeah. And then he like Raiden lets her down, and he's like, what happened? And he's like, why'd you steal everything? And she's like, I'm gonna give it all back. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna give it all back, right? And then Ryan's like, come with me. And he walks Tarja. But he doesn't just walk Tarja. He grabs the rope that they were going to hang her with, hangs it over his shoulder, and walks in front of her like someone walking a cow. And to be fair, like, I don't want to praise Terminator X, TX, but she acted this beautifully. Like, her hands are still tied. She's being pulled by her neck. She's paying no attention to it and just discussing with Raiden. And Raiden's like, it's all gone wrong. The Zero might be in trouble. And she's like, well, we've got to help him. You've got to sort this out. And Raiden's like, I know I have to sort this out. It was glorious, man. I fucking like... I won't do it because I don't want to edit images into the videos and stuff. But I urge you to go back and look because it's just a lovely shot and well acted. Lovely moment. And then we go back to Quan Chi. And oh no, it's Quan Chi's woman. I think it's the brunette woman, and it's an odd cut because it's just a cloak figure, and she nudges past him and goes, "Mind," and then the cloak figure goes, "What are you doing here, such and such?" and pulls his cloak down, and it's Raiden. I think her name was like Shona, something like that. You're gonna hear paper rustling. Page 4 of the notes. Yeah. You okay?
Yeah.
And then, Raiden interrogates her.
Yeah.
Basically by making lightning appear. Do you remember what he says to
her? She goes, she says something like, oh, Quan Chi can send me back to the Nether Realm. And Raiden's like, I can send you back to nothing. I'm a god. Where would you rather be? At least you. I think it's like, at least you'll be somewhere.
And then there's a pause, and then she's like, Quan Chi's poisoned them all.
Yeah.
And then he's like, why? And she won't really explain why, so he's like wants to explain why. They don't quite explain why at this moment, but then Raiden leaves. We go back to the base. Raiden's treating Zero while Tarja is locked in a cell.
Yeah.
And she's talking through the bars of this door while Zero's on the floor. And Tarja's like, what's going to happen? Really casually. Yeah. Well, not even looking at her. Ryan's just like, I'm a god, not a fortune teller.
Yeah.
And just like annoyed by her. And he then works out that Kung Lao's at the monk temple.
Yeah.
So he's like, we've got to go there. So he fast travels. He's like, we've got to go there quickly, hang on. And they just materialise in the temple. And how would you describe the scene that they materialise into the middle of?
It's the temple, but a lot darker than usual. All the monks are on the floor. There's one monk kneeling at the top, and Kung Lao is stood over him with a sword about to execute him.
You know that the beginning of Saving Private Ryan, they storm the beach. Really famous beach storm scene. There's a bit where like a shell lands near a dude and it like knocks him senseless, and all he's hearing is like that piercing static noise, and it's like that, not static, it's like ringing, and he looks around and like there's just people crawling. That's what this scene must have looked like to Raiden. Like in his head, I imagine it slowed down, black and white with really sad music. Like there's just monks, all of them moaning and crawling, and then there's one monk being held on the altar by Kung Lao holding a fucking sword, and he's like gonna swing, and Raiden's like, Kung Lao, don't. Kung Lao looks at Raiden, and then goes to swing his sword anyway. And so Raiden goes, Kung Lao, and just puts his hand out, and the sword disappears. Like it just goes away into dust, and then Kung Lao, like, I was like full on committed. He starts like having a go at Raiden and then goes to fight him, and Raiden just goes, "Not a good idea, Kung Lao." Like, not scared of Kung Lao, nothing. And Raiden like is sort of like right. Why are you like this? Oh, I get it. And he's like, Quan Chi's plan is really simple. Like, they've all been poisoned, so none of them can see good. So their worst aspects are brought. So Tarja's worst aspect is she's a thief. So she became a kleptomaniac thief. No interest in being a sneaky thief. Just had to steal everything. Ciro's like, he feels like he's having to keep this honour going and trying to be a better soldier and friend, which actually some of the episodes have shown, like the Noob Saibot one where they went for Tarja and Kung Lao went to fight Noob Saibot because they assumed Ciro was there, and Ciro hadn't. He would wait for help, and he's trying to become a better ally basically and protector. And Kung Lao is raised since birth to fight in a Mortal Kombat tournament and to be the ultimate good and because of that, like, Kung Lao's side, whereas Ciro, I don't know if I finished my point. Ciro's point is, so his like bad side is to lose all that honour and just be able to be sleazy. I believe Raiden used a description that involved like to belch, fornicate and hunt women or something like that. Kung Lao's is to fucking murder everyone. The opposite of trying to save everyone and sacrificing is to selfishly fuck everyone over.
He's pissed off with everyone because he's been forced to do this. He's been forced to fight, so he'll fight and kill everyone.
Which this is weird from Mortal Kombat Conquest. Makes so fucking much sense to me. That makes an insane amount of sense. And this whole like episode, like, it doesn't make any sense, but the characters made sense in what they were doing, and that's all I need from Mortal Kombat Conquest because the characters are so fucking awesome. All we needed was Shang Tsung having one scene with Vorpix saying like, "Oh, Quan Chi's up to something," and a couple of lines like insulting her, and this would have been the perfect fucking episode. Maybe an emperor yelling death or something as well. So the idea is, if your soul is dishonoured, and killing a monk would apparently dishonour your soul, so Shang Tsung's soul must be fucking dishonoured as well. You'll be rejected from heaven when you die, and go to the Nether Realm, where Quan Chi will then own your soul, and he then basically plans to sell Kung Lao's soul. So all of this is a get-rich-quick scheme for Quan Chi.
All this, so he can kill him, make him go to Nether Realm, sell him to the Emperor.
All this effort, the bad shaves, the pricked hands on roses, the tied-up woman, the fight, the murder of the flower-selling girl, it's all just to push Kung Lao into dishonouring his soul so that it can be sold. That's all it was. That's fucking amazing. Like, it's not even like power, it's just money. Like, it's great. So Kung Lao realises the plan. Raiden, realises the plan and explains it to Kung Lao. Kung Lao is not really listening. They've exposed your worst instincts, and Tarja's like, "Well, help us." And Raiden's like, "There's nothing I can do. You have to sort this out yourself." And then we go to Quan Chi's three women having a conversation, and there's now, you could call this a series trope, where people are having a conversation and they reveal the betrayal at the beginning. They try and figure out what's going to happen at the end, and the person that they're betraying turns up in time to hear them trying to figure it out, but not in time to hear them betraying. It happened last week with Shang Tsung and Vorpix. It happens this week. These three women. One was like basically like the other two, the blonde woman, and I believe it's the black woman, and telling the brunette woman, "You fucking told Raiden everything?" She goes, "It's fucking Raiden. He can control it." And she goes, "It's Raiden. You shouldn't." Well, he's told him now. What do? We're just going to do what we intended to do from the beginning. And Quan Chi's like, "And what did you intend to tell me from the beginning?" I think it's, we intended to tell him from the beginning. Quan Chi's what to tell me. And they're like, "Kung Lao's at the monk's temple. He's killing monks." So Quan Chi's like, "Excellent. Do you want to do Quan Chi's basically, excellent, I'm going to the temple."
Essentially, excellent, I'm going to the temple.
That was a bit too monotone for what he does. His voice goes all over the place, and the odd Quan Chi pauses as he smiles about things. Quan Chi meets Kung Lao, but then Raiden appears, and like Quan Chi's like, damn, I thought he'd killed him, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then he's like, fine, you go do it. And he sends his 3 women forward. And Raiden just makes a lightning bolt appear.
Yeah.
And Quincy's like, you can't interfere in Mortal Kombat. And Raiden just goes, they're not mortal.
Yeah.
And Quincy's like, fine,
And then
you 3 leave. And they just leave, like, whoa,
Yeah.
we're not going to fucking Raiden. And Quincy's like, you want to fight... he's like, I'll fight Kung Lao amazing. Kung Lao alone.
Yeah.
And then...
Goes to use like superpowers and
No,
Ryan's
we
like,
have to.
fair
No,
fight.
no. Wait, he's like, he smiles, and then really bad CGI, like green gas clouds, start circling around him. Like these are effects that they were so badly done. Like it wasn't even. It was at the time that looked good. It didn't look good for the time. It was just badly done green effects, and then Raiden's like in a fair fight. And the Quan Chi's like a child, like oh, and the cars disappear, and his costume changes.
Yeah, his armor, like all his armor and shoulder pads and stuff get removed.
So he's just in a waistcoat and trousers, and he's like, fine, I can still beat him. And they have an amazing fight.
Yeah,
Quan Chi the whole time is screaming like yeah, and he's flipping.
and he's climbing walls
and jumping off them to kick,
and like he's doing like the thing that lots of kids do, like the Spider-Man door frame thing, and like standing there and then kicking from there.
Yeah,
like really awkward, but just works for the team because of how it is.
It was fucking glorious, and Kung Lao is still like you're not actually sure if it's Psycho Kung Lao or not, but he's fighting it very much like, I'm going to punch you in the most painful place I can with as much force as possible. I'm not going to flip with you, I'm not going to flank kick with you, I'm not going to be surprised at any shit you do. You zip around, you scream, and as soon as you land, I'm going to punch you in the face. And that's like, that was the fight, and Quan Chi loses. Like, and then he's like...
Well, he sort of, like, it's essentially a stalemate for ages.
Yeah.
And then Quan Chi sort of backs off and realises that Kung Lao hasn't actually killed any of the monks.
Because you can beat a monk.
Yeah.
That's fine for your soul. You just can't kill them.
Yeah.
Apparently. So then Quan Chi's like...
He's useless to me.
Yeah, there's no money to be made. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Goodbye forever. It won't be forever.
Yeah.
They've got to... I know for a fact they bring him back. Because it's one episode I remember. It's the last episode and I'm pretty sure Quan Chi's in that. And Quan Chi disappears. And... then it leaves Raiden with Zero and Tarja, and they basically walk back.
Yeah, they go to walk back, and you have a great bit from Tarja. It's like, oh, it's so far, can't you just fast travel? And Raiden just goes, is anyone dying? Now? Then we walk.
Yeah. Because Zero, we should mention Zero got treated by the monks.
Yeah.
And they did this brief thing about the monks have amazing medicine.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why don't you just go there every time shit happens then? And so then they're just walking back and he just won't walk.
Yeah.
And then they have like nothing conversation. And then the final conversation is Tarja and Zero. And they're basically both a bit guilty, but they both comfort each other.
Yeah.
And I can't remember any significant lines, but it was a nice moment. And then we roll to the credits.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. That's that episode. Episode 9, Quan Chi. What did you think?
As I say, like, I don't think it was the best episode.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were important acted well.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of the blonde woman. I feel like she was more... they gave her way too many lines. The brunette or black woman, whoever did the bit with Raiden, was fine.
Yeah.
With the few lines that they had. They probably should have had the blonde woman's role, maybe.
Yeah.
The Quan Chi, like, he was all over the place, but once you got used to that's how he talks, then it was fine.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was who is it? Star Trek guy. The original, like, captain of Star Trek.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, it's like Kirk style, like, logs
but
for all lines.
We must.
But
this is the
angry at the same time. Like, not just like the pauses, but like emotion changes constantly. Which for the, like how he looks, this weird crazed guy that with white face paint and like sort of like crow arrow style things going on, worked. Raiden was great.
Yeah.
So we had plenty of him, which is always a bonus. Tarja was pretty good. Zero worked really well as belligerent drunk. He was still like semi-good actor in the early bit, but later like it worked.
Zero, we've said this before. Zero, the actor, has a slight twang. Like, he has a great mastery of the English language, but he has this slight foreign. It's like a Scandinavian twang to the way he says words. And when he was playing drunk, he let his twang go more, and it really added to it because every word was clear and you could tell what was being said. But it just gave it more of a guttural, like, this is a drunk guy. You know,
it was more like we make films and like. We let actors change lines if it makes it flow better for them. It was almost like the drunk lines flowed better for him. Like it was more natural to say those type of lines.
Yeah.
So it worked a lot better.
Yeah.
Kung Lao worked as an angry guy. He was basically the same character, just angry version.
Scowl instead of a smile or serene face.
Yeah. So he was fine. And the fights were decent. So as far as Mortal Kombat Conquest goes, it's a pretty good episode.
Fair play. So for me, the question comes: why did I want to go back and watch Mortal Kombat Conquest? Right, and it's because I fondly remember it, and I don't remember it fondly as a good show. I don't remember it having great martial arts scenes, and it came out I think after The Matrix. So The Matrix was already like. Those for me are some of the ultimate fight scenes. Or when I was growing up, like I could watch some of the Matrix fights all day. It's nowhere near that level. I don't remember it because of special effects or being groundbreaking. What I remember it is being over the top, wacky trash, and just really, really bizarre.
It's Power Rangers with Mortal Kombat.
It's like huffing glue.
Yeah.
And then like everything's just a bit crazy, but you don't have to huff the glue to watch it. It's all a bit crazy. And this episode was fucking mental. Like, evil Kung Lao is crazy. Zero being drunk, it's crazy. And it's not just, he's drunk. It's what he does when he's drunk. Yeah. Even he may have raped someone. Like, and it's just there. It's not even a big thing. Tarja Thief isn't like, she's stealing. So it's not, I steal a couple of things. It's, she steals something, she steals the ring off a dead girl's finger, she's being executed. Yeah. Like, the escalation is amazing here. Raiden is always great because he's so dismissive and casual. Like, he's a safe pair of hands, that guy. Quan Chi's delivery is over the top, but the fight, like, you build up to the Quan Chi fight, and he's treated like he's he's going to be a badass. Is he a badass? Well, he fights in a bizarre, screamy, flipping, kick-around way, There was funny lines, there was bizarre lines, there was funny moments. I'm sending you back. No, please. To Kung Lao, you idiot, is amazing. That's any time that's funny. That's an objectively funny moment for bumbling villains, but they're not meant to be bumbling villains. Like, this episode like epitomizes more than any other why I watch this show, and I would much rather every episode went balls to the wall, over the top like this with ridiculous plans and schemes than when we get like the Tarja disappearing, I need my dad, even though that had some bizarre moments and stuff, and then you get Kung Lao and Zero. I think last week's was also one of the better episodes, but this was strong. This was strong and great, and that's, if you're not going to kill off all the characters, which is I think what I talked about last week or the week before, at least give me this over the top characters, and that's what this did. I loved it this week. I fucking loved it. It went so quickly. I watched it in one sitting, and I could have watched it again. In fact, there were moments where I went back and watched like an extra line, and I watched the Quan Chi Kung Lao fight I think 3 times because I loved it. I just loved the way it was put together. Like, silly over the top doesn't challenge me is what I want. Although there was potentially a rape, but apart from that, silly over the top doesn't challenge me is what I want. 90s at its best / worst. Because the worst of the 90s is sort of also the best of the 90s.
Well, the worst of the 90s is what you remember as being 90s. When something is, you go, it's very 90s-ish. It's the worst of the 90s that you're thinking of. You're not thinking of the good stuff from the 90s that holds up now and is perfectly fine. You're thinking of the awful,
metal or over the top, like GoldenEye helicopter train. A train coming out. Is it GoldenEye? I'm sure it's GoldenEye. It's like, that's 90s James Bond. It's so over the top. At one point, he chases a train in a tank, and then the train has a helicopter in it that the bad guy flies off.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. That's what I like. Mortal Kombat Conquest at its best / worst. It's that fondness for that era. There we go. I'm out.
Yeah.
Peace.
So, in a bit. Bye.